Welcome back to another I'm a Celebrity recap video, and today we've got a lot to talk about. We've got JLS concerts, we've got bath time with Jamie Lynn Spears, we've got Brexit negotiations. Yeah, I know, yeah, it didn't take long, did it? But we've also got a hilarious trial involving Nigella, not Lawson, Nella and Nigel. So make sure to stay tuned for my recap. So it's probably worth kicking off with Jamie Lynn Spears, and she was having a conversation with Fred about sort of how she grew up and things like that, and sort of her emancipation from her parents following like her getting pregnant at 16. And I gotta say, as much as public reception of her is very negative, I'll admit I did not know any of this about her, and I feel like it makes me see her not necessarily in a positive light, but in a different light to what I had seen her in before, because I didn't know all of this personal stuff. And I feel like that's exactly the kind of thing that this show does, is it brings out the personal side, because we see people just having conversations and chats. I did find it really, really interesting, sort of the way that she was talking about her parents, and I gotta say, it does kind of reinforce the fact that, like, Britney was kind of under the control of her parents, mostly her dad, actually. In fact, pretty much exclusively her dad. But it just kind of does reinforce the fact that that is true, and that she wasn't kind of making that up. Also, we saw her just a little bit down in the dumps later on, and it was sad to see her sort of moping about, I don't think she's going to last very long. I don't think she's going to make it the full 3 weeks, or like to the first eliminations. But yeah, it is sad to see someone so down in the dumps, and then everyone sort of made her get in the bath and was like, you'll feel better after a bath. And then Marvin Humes from JLS just started to serenade her with Sam Thompson. I don't know why that happened, but it was incredibly funny, and I think it was actually one of the highlights of the episode, was just Jamie Lynn sitting very confused in the bath as everyone's serenading her with like pots and pans, and Marvin Humes singing. That was genuinely such a funny moment of the episode. It's probably worth bringing up the fact that Fred and Nigel were having a conversation about Brexit, and it was uncomfortable to say the least. It felt very much sort of that Fred was trying to probe into sort of Nigel's thoughts about it, but then it started to feel like Fred was trying to change change Nigel's mind, but I don't think that's going to happen. This is the guy that spearheaded Brexit, led the campaign, made up all of those lies, and he isn't going to have his mind changed by Fred in the jungle. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like the whole thing was kind of a little bit futile. It's nice to see that the sort of campmates challenging him and making sure that he knows that he's not necessarily in the clear, and he's not here for an easy ride. But I also feel like there's no point, like you're preaching to someone that doesn't want to be converted. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. It was also quite funny to see Grace and Nick just dip camp and be like, I'm not getting involved in this. I cannot be bothered for the politics talk, because at the end of the day, they're here to just have a lovely time in the jungle. And as much as Ant and Dec are trying to stop them from doing that, they don't want to get caught up in all the politics chat. And do you know what? I really can't blame them. Having politicians in the jungle, especially when they are very active in politics. I know he's not sitting MP currently, but he's still very active in politics. It's the same as Matt Hancock last year. He's still very in the public eye, active, even though he was kicked out of office. the issue comes with the fact that these are people who have served very recently, and it's not like when we had Edwina Curry and she was an ex-MP and like she was just there to expand her horizons. But I wonder why now, Nigel? Why now? What's the play here? Because a lot of these people are wanting to increase their profile, or they're here for the challenge or whatever. But why are you here? That's what I really want to know. So it's time to talk about the bushtucker trial, and this episode we had the Jungle Pizzeria. Now, we knew from yesterday's episode that Nella and Nigel were going to be facing this, and they came up with the hilarious nickname Nigella, which actually worked a lot better than I thought it would. So yeah, fair enough. It also worked with the food theme as well. But they sat down around a table, and you could tell that Nella was slightly uncomfortable being in a trial with Farage, as she called him. She kept calling him Farage instead of Nigel. It's just so... Oh my god, it had me howling. And you could tell that she was trying to make the best of a bad situation, and she was being entertained, she was being funny. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that she's not funny, she's too loud, she's obnoxious, she's over the top. And I just think, why would you want to watch someone boring do a trial like this? I'd much rather someone be screaming and shouting and over the top and energetic than what Nigel was, where he just sat there and went, oh, this is disgusting. Yeah, this is really disgusting. Oh, yeah. I was like, what? This is so sort of like, this is so dull and dry. But like, Nella's serving me all the entertainment that I need, which was so great because she had such juxtaposing things. I gotta say, Nella impressed me. She did a lot better than I thought she would. She kept on being like, count me down, Farage. And Farage would give her a countdown, which was quite funny. But it was just the way she was ordering him about was just had me cracking up, because he just couldn't do anything but count her down. So some of the things that they had to eat, I gotta say, a lot of them were disgusting. They came out as actual pizzas, and the first thing was a pepperoni, I think, and it had mealworms, scorpions, some kind of pasty thing. I think it was like blended cockroaches or some shit like that. It was disgusting. It looked vile, and I gotta say, the pizza bases themselves were hard and crusty. They were disgusting. Nigel had a margarita, which was like camel's teat and... yeah. I stopped noting down the names of them because they got a little bit too complicated and I couldn't spell them. The next one was cow's anus, spiders, snails, and duck tongue for Nella. That was a crazy combination. Sheep and goat's feet with chicken feet and blended bull's tongue. That was for Nigel. That, honestly, I feel like this was one of the most disgusting ones. Usually it's like, oh, just eat a camel's teat. But this time it was like, we've thrown 5 or 6 ingredients onto a pizza. Bon appetit. Couldn't have hacked it. Next up was pig's anus, pig brain, and pig testicles. And Nella came out with something like, you're having me eating anus on live TV. And, had me howling. I don't understand how people can't find her funny, because she is genuinely one of the funniest people in the camp currently. And I think she knows she's entertaining, so she's being entertaining, and as she should be. As she should be. Bring me the entertainment, please. Bring me the entertainment! Vomit through fermented tofu and fermented plums was next for Nigel. That one sounds the worst. Kerry from Big Brother would have really struggled with that. She'd rather eat her own shit, she said that. Fermented duck egg, fly pupae, and grubs. Or like a witchy grub. That was for Nella. Gotta say, again, they just kept on getting worse and worse and worse. Then Nigel had camel and goat anus topped with crocodile anus. And I gotta say, That one got me. That one made me chuckle because the anuses just kept on coming. There was too many ani, and oh god, it had me howling. I genuinely, like, would you, ani, multiple anuses on one pizza. Glad Nigel got it. Jesus Christ. The next box came out and it opened and then I slapped it back down. She went, "No, I'm not eating that. No, I'm not eating that." She picked up one of the beach worms and it was long. It was genuinely, like, I've seen beach worms on this show before. This was something else. It was vile. It was disgusting. I wanted to cry looking at it. There was also fermented sea herring, and Nella basically said it smelled like death, and she passed on that. She said, "I'm not eating that. At the end of the day, I'm still a lady." But yeah, I wouldn't have eaten that either. Fish is like, whoa. So I was gagging at the thought of it. Ugh, that's disgusting. And the last dish that I just remembered what the last dish is. The last dish that Nigel had to do was sheep, pig, bull, and crocodile penis all on one pizza. 4 penises on one pizza. I feel like they did this on purpose for Nigel, getting him to eat like cock on national television. But 4 penises! Ant and Dec, you're taking the piss. You are taking the right Mickey. I cannot believe that. 4 penises. And they even asked him, have you had penis before? and you... Oh, I'm just going to move on. So, at the end of that trial, they managed to get 9 out of 10 stars. The only one being Nella that passed on one of her dishes. But I gotta say, 9 out of 10 is not bad. I think that was as good as they were going to get. So yeah, I was happy with their efforts. Left, right, up, down. That is what has been stuck in my head since last night's episode. Because I cannot tell you how much joy I got out of Sam Thompson asking Marvin Humes to teach him the JLS dance. But Sam was very open about the fact that JLS got him through some tough times, and sort of it was when he was getting rejected by women in clubs and things like that. And he said that JLS sort of like helped him get pumped up and helped him cry and things like that. And so like it was really endearing to see him go up to Marvin and be like, right. Teach me that dance. Teach me that dance. She makes me wanna, oh. And it was just, I'm not gonna lie. Bless him. He has no dance sense whatsoever, because as soon as Marvin did it, like I've done dance training before, but as soon as he did it, I was like, okay, that's quite easy. And with like the that's quite fun. It's probably wrong on the camera, but I am doing it right in real life. But bless him, Sam was just not getting the timing right until it was like left, right, up, down. That was when he got it, and oh, it was so cute. And then later on, they started doing it again, and I was like, it's so cute, and I don't know why. Like this is my first time sort of really engaging with Sam Thompson. Like I didn't watch Made in Chelsea. I listen to his podcast every now and then. I watch like some TikToks that he does. So like this is the first time that I'm really getting to know him. And my God, he's the sweetest person I've ever met. I don't think there's a bad bone in his body. He's so lovely. It seems like, at least. And so like, oh, protect at all costs, please. It's time for the Dingo Dollar Challenge. That was the worst Australian accent I probably could have done, but you know what? We move. And in this episode, we had Josie and Nick doing the challenge. They've named it like Kev's Deals on Wheels, but like it's still the Dingo Dollar Challenge, right? Right? I'm sure it's still that. But it seems like is it Kev's? Yeah, Kev. Because it used to be Keith, but then Keith was a bit dodgy, and then they brought in Kev. So Kev now has an ice cream truck. Don't ask me why. He's probably going to catch some little kids. But it was a nice change, I guess, from like a shack or a hut or a I don't know. What was he in last year? I don't... This is what I mean by, like, last year feels like a fever dream. I watched every single episode because I remember every single episode, but, like, I don't remember every single episode. So, like, what's going on there? I felt like I was in a fever trance last year. To be fair, I was quite busy last year, so I was kind of watching it, binge watching it. Anyway, the point still stands that they had to do a Dingo Dollar challenge, and it was essentially what I think Josie was attached to, like, a bungee cord, and she had to run forward whilst Nick painted a picture, the correct colours, and if they got the correct colours close enough, then they got it right. But it was also raining, so the paint was going everywhere. It was a bit of a mess, and it was a bit of a tragedy. But I got to say, it was highly entertaining, and some of the things they had to paint was like a snooker table. I wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have got the green and the white ball, but then I would have been like, I don't know what the rest of the balls look like, because whenever I play pool, they're all different colours. So, I don't know. But is that pool or is it snooker? I don't know. Is there a difference? I feel like they're the same thing, no? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. They also had to paint like a flamingo, the world. They fucked up the rainbow. They really fucked up the rainbow. Everybody knows it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I think. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. But anyway, so they had to paint loads of different things. They managed to get 5 in a row eventually. I think they got like veg and some easy ones eventually. But yeah, it was a very, very entertaining Dingo Dollar challenge. Then came the question. They made it all the way there. They were competing for popcorn, coloured popcorn. And I thought, who wants some dusty-ass popcorn? Who? I don't. Like, I love popcorn, but I can guarantee you, I was looking at that and I went, that's sweet. I don't like sweet popcorn. I'm a salty popcorn kind of guy. Like, sweet popcorn is just... It's just a bit flavourless. Do you know what I mean? It just isn't that tasty. I also like toffee popcorn, but that's a whole different conversation. But salted popcorn, okay, maybe I would have been excited about it. But everyone's going to get like 2 kernels. No one's going to actually... Like, if it was a bag of popcorn each, yeah, fairs. Yeah, I'd be fighting for that. But, no, sadly not. The question was, what's the combined age of the camp? And I have to be honest... How did they fuck this up? How did the people in the camp fuck this up? Because even if you were to roughly guess Josie and Nick's age, you've got 8 other people in the camp, right? You should be able to add up the ages. Surely. And it was even when Jamie Lynn was like, oh, 60-something add 30-something is... oh, I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean? 60 add 30 is 90. I think it was 62 add 90, 62 add 32. And I was like, that's 94 immediately. I was like, what are you on about? What do you mean? I'd have been so pissed off if we got that wrong and I was in the camp. Because I'd have been like, right, who's lying about their age? Who is lying about their age? Because I haven't got the maths wrong. Like, I've got my workings here to show it. I would have drawn a stick in the sand if I had to. I would have been fuming. But then again, it was just for popcorn, so it's not like they actually missed out on anything. Just got a few random moments to talk about. I'm just going to whiz through these. Danielle found a small spider in her bed, and Josie was like, that could kill you, you know. That could be the thing that kills you. And I feel like she was just making it far worse than it should be. But then Josie got karma given to her as she walked down to the creek and saw Nigel Farage's bare ass in the shower. Good God, that was not something I wanted to see, and I almost burnt my eyes out trying to look away. Not fun at all. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, it did make me chuckle how she was like, that's not the worst I've seen. No, it probably is. That was quite funny. And then we had Fred seeing a blue lobster in the sort of creek and wanting to cook it. And then Fred also had another funny moment when he was talking to Nigel before the eating trial, and he went, "Yeah, my dad eats balls all the time. He cooks them, he fries them up, he puts a little bit of garlic and things like." And I was just like, this man is just brazenly admitting to eating testicles on TV for fun. I feel like we haven't had a celebrity like that before. So yeah, those were the iconic moments, the funny random moments from this episode. So it's time for dinner, and they got buffalo tail, and I gotta be honest, I would have been really disappointed. Oh god, it looked like a nightmare to cook. Like, they say some things are really difficult to cook and some things are easy to cook. I feel like the kangaroo rump yesterday was quite easy to cook. This apparently took hours to cook, to the point where the girls had some veg and then fell asleep. The only girl that stayed awake to actually eat some of the buffalo tail was Grace, and I feel like that's because she's a restaurant food critic and she's trying to taste all the different types of meat and food that they get in the jungle, just to sort of increase her palate, I guess, which is quite, I think it's quite cool, actually. I feel like that's what I do in the jungle. I'd want to try all these different things. Even if they were disgusting, I'd still try them. But it was crazy that everyone fell asleep, and so the guys just had like loads of food to themselves. But yeah, it was quite entertaining. And then we moved on to the public vote. This was for the trial No Time to Cry. I always like these styles of like trial where they like have like a location and they send a celebrity in and it's filled with nasty things. It's quite cool. It's different to your like average, oh, we're gonna strap you into a coffin and bury you underground for like 10 minutes. Because that's boring to watch. I'd rather watch a celebrity go through a house and feel their way through in the dark or whatever, because that's more entertaining. Anyway, so it came down to Jamie Lynn and Nella, and by no surprise whatsoever, Nella was chosen to do the task by the public. And I gotta say, she's going to be giving us entertainment. I'm really excited to see how she gets on. I really hope she doesn't give up. I really, really hope, because like, we've been on a good run the last couple of years. I would say a good maybe 4 or 5 years since anybody said I'm a celeb, get me out of here. I'd have to do my sort of research to work out when the last time was. I'll probably put it on the screen now. Nope, the other way, now. But I gotta say, I hope she doesn't give up. So thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode, probably tomorrow. And it's looking like it's going to be an interesting trial, I gotta say. So thank you guys for watching. Keep on ranting. Bye now.